Hello and welcome to the Talk of the Town. I'm Michael Jacobi, executive producer of Jazz on the Plaz and host of Raising the Standards on KCAT Radio Santa Cruz. If today, during the interview, I look like I'm smiling more and I'm a little happier, it's because I am. I love this guy, Roger Maltbie.
Mike, good to see you.
It's so good to see you again.
My pleasure.
How are you?
Great. I couldn't
You
be
look
any
great.
better.
I guess it's just you and I that aren't aging. I get mixed up on
No, I'm aging. I have no hair and 4 chins to prove it.
Well, yes. Well, let's start a little bit about your background. You're San Jose State.
Yep.
Born in Modesto.
I was born in Modesto, but moved to the San Jose area
quite a
at
cultural
6
leap.
months. Well, that was before I had any culture at all, and some would still say I don't. But my dad was a pharmacist, moved here, started his own business. I mean, you couldn't buy a stick of gum in his pharmacy. It was right across the street from San Jose Hospital.
Yeah.
And
I remember, sure.
yeah, he had just a little pharmacy right there, and we moved to the east side of San Jose, about a block from San Jose Country Club, and that's where I was raised.
You played, we were talking about your dad, who God bless him is 94,
94.
World War II vet.
Yep.
And we might try to get him on this show.
He would love it.
I mean, the stories you tell him
Yeah.
off camera are marvelous. He brought you to the game?
Well, we moved near the golf course, and somehow my older brother, John, who's 5 years older than I am, or close to 5 years older than I am, got a hold of a couple of clubs, and we'd find balls that members hit over the fence, and we'd sneak on late in the day and whatnot. So Dad kind of said, geez, you know, you guys really like this, and say, yeah, Dad, it's a lot of fun. He tried the game. He liked it, joined the club, and I played golf there since, well, I was 8 years old.
And you played for San Jose State.
I did.
Now, who was on that team? Weeby, was that before you or after?
He was after me. Mark Lai was there.
Was before you.
Oh, well before me. Yeah, well before me. But we have a pretty good golfing history. There's been a lot of good players come through San Jose State, and it's where I always wanted to play. And I didn't want to leave home, and I'm glad that I played there.
I would be remiss not to mention that we lost a good friend in Lee Brandenburg.
Yes.
One of the great guys in the world.
Well, and always there to help.
Yeah.
Any way he could help, Lee would help. He was a character.
I remember we were having dinner in Palm Springs with Lee, and my son Kennedy was with me, and with Venturi. And you know Venturi, he could drink, and to say the least.
Yes.
And Venturi we're talking about, I said, I was Sinatra, a decent player. He wasn't much of a player. I said, Dean, not much of a player. And it kept going. Everybody was not much of a player.
Oh, right.
And I said, Jesus? Not much of a player. and I made some kind of joke. And we're at Ruth Chris, and he all but yells, don't make fun of my country. And God bless him, Brandenburg looked at him and said, it's our country too. And he's the only millionaire liberal I've ever met. I mean, it's just, what a man, and just a sweetheart. Yeah, of course, owned Cinnabar and helped support it. Was such a major influence.
Yeah, Lee and Diane were great people, and she's still here. I don't want to make it sound like she's gone. Diane's still here, but I actually said a few words at his funeral that the family asked me to do and tell a couple of stories, and they'll be missed. They will be missed.
Just wonderful people. 12 wins on the tour. Was that right?
No.
That's Wikipedia. Is that
5.
5 wins on
5.
Maybe 12 total worldwide.
Yeah.
Senior tour.
None. I didn't play the senior tour. I only played a handful of events. I was already into television by then.
Tied for 4th at Augusta.
I finished a shot out of the playoff in '87. Yeah.
And that haunts you.
No. It's something I recall. And last week, to give you the timing of this, last week watching the Masters, yeah, I always get a little twinge when I watch it. You know, one of the great perks is you get that green jacket, and you're now an honorary member of the club, and you always are welcome back.
Now, let's talk. There's so many apocryphal things about Augusta, and I've been there as well. I know you have to know God to go there, but you have to be God to play there. The jacket, can you take it off the grounds? No, that's
No. The winner of the tournament, the current champion, is allowed to take it off the grounds for a year. And then it must be returned to the club, and it hangs in your locker for whenever you're there.
And is there a separate jacket for each one?
Yes.
Does Jack have 6 separate jackets?
I don't know that. I don't think so. He probably has the same jacket.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's a rich club, but I don't know if they want to throw money away like that. Maybe he has them for different weights. I don't know.
It's an amazing place. Needless to say, if folks know the history of Augusta, it was built in a nursery. And so the ground is unbelievably fertile. Do they put ink in the waters to make it reflect? On TV, I've heard that.
You know, they do a lot of things there, and it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know that for a fact, but they have ways of making sure the flowers and the azaleas bloom that week. They have ways of doing things there. They have sub-air systems under every single green.
Yeah.
They can heat the greens, they can cool the greens, they can suck the moisture out when they have rain. You know, they just have every technologically advanced system in the world there. It's just amazing.
Well, you and I are taping this interview in April, so we've just come off watching the Masters. And they had some, they're always talking about the original design of the course, and for instance, 13, which was never designed to hit over the pines and have an 8-iron in on the par 5. Augusta, I think, probably likes low scores less than the USGA does. Are they going to make a big move? I know they bought some other property. Is there a possibility of moving that tee back or some major changes?
Well, they did buy property from Augusta Country Club, which is right behind the 13th tee. But I don't think, I don't share your view in that they hate low scores more than anybody else. 15 under par just won.
Well, I know, I understand.
You know, it's pretty hard pressed to find U.S. Opens won at 15 under par. They like it tough. They like it to play competitively, yes. And they do have a remarkable ability just by moving hole locations a few feet. They can make the golf course kind of as hard or as easy as they want. So they have a great deal of latitude. If scores are real good one day, well, the next day they may not be quite so generous with where they put the holes. So it's a fascinating place. They do things that they don't do anywhere else. You know, when they close the course, it's closed almost half a year.
Is it half the year?
Not quite. They'll close, I think, in October, and it won't open again until, say, March or something like that. At any rate, they strip all the sand from the bunkers, redo the bunkers, new sand goes in, they clean and purify the sand, put it back. They just do things. Will change greens. And you go the next year as a competitor, you haven't seen the course in a year, and you go, something's a little different here. But they never tell you what they did, and it doesn't change much. But there are subtle things that happen there, yeah.
We're doing okay time-wise? Good. Hopefully we'll be talking to Nance from CBS later in the year. So
Oh, great.
I'll let him tell the Augusta stories.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the fact that NBC for so many years had the U.S. Open, and then they went to Fox, and I still don't get. But and you were a mainstay on that. But now you're doing the Open, and for folks that are golf fans, there's only one Open, the Open, which of course are the venues in the British Isles. We're going back to Ireland next year, right? Portrush.
Yes, I think next year. Yeah. Yeah.
And you and I were talking off camera. It's got to be more fun almost to do that coverage.
Well, it is. I mean, it is a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing the U.S. Open. It's fun to cover golf as an old broken down pro. It's fun to be out there covering an event that matters, really matters. And I'm not trying to say that week in, week out events on the PGA Tour. Yes, but it's, you know, these are the things where lives change and legends are made, and it's fun to be a part of. And it is the major championship. It's the oldest. There are players from around the globe, has the most international field. You know, look at Augusta. It's a spectacular event, believe me. But a very limited field, a lot of former champions, amateurs in there. It's not the strongest field in golf. It's just wonderful. The U.S. Open, a lot of qualifiers, this and that. a great field, but not the same. You know, I mean, the Open Championship is the major championship in golf.
And we watched Augusta. They were watching. My God, there may be a 65% chance of rain. At the Open, who cares?
Yeah, right.
Go out, let's go play.
Yeah, they like that.
That's
Well, they say, nay wind, nay rain, nay golf. That's the way the Scots look at it.
And what's unbelievable, and it changed after we were talking about Arnold. When Arnold went over and won the Open the first time, he had to go back and qualify the next year.
Did he? I don't know.
Yeah.
Geez, you know your golf history better than I. Yeah.
For that was like the first
Yeah.
You know my buddy Jim Dotson that wrote Final
The author?
Rounds?
Yeah.
He tells the great story in Final Rounds about the American playing at St. Andrews, and at one point he says to his caddy, because he's so frustrated, he says, "You've got to be the worst goddamn caddy on the planet." And the guy looks at him and says, "Oh no, sir, that'd be too much of a coincidence."
You're right. Right.
British golf and Irish golf is just so special. And
Yes.
I tell folks that if they ever get a chance, I've been fortunate of playing in both Ireland and Scotland, it's another world.
Yeah. Well, our golf courses are you would say, much better manicured, and American golfers' idea of a fair test is that the ball pretty much stays where you hit it. And over there, it's like playing a giant game of pachinko.
Yeah.
You know, you land it out in the toolies and it's back in the fairway. You land it in the fairway, it's out in the toolies. But the whole nature of the game of golf is you hit it, and wherever it goes, your job is to go find it and hit it again. And so maybe it's the fairest way to play.
And while in the parlance of dating, American courses have good personalities. But British courses and Scottish courses and Irish courses are beautiful.
They are. They're gorgeous, and they change so much.
Every day. You're right. Every day.
So much.
Every day.
Yeah.
We're with Roger Maltbie from NBC Sports, and I'm just delighted to spend some time with him, and we'll spend a little bit more after a quick word from our kind sponsors, the folks at O'Connor Hospital, part of Verity Health. And we are so thankful to them for helping to keep the Talk of the Town on the air this year at KCAT Channel 15. We'll be right back.
At O'Connor Hospital, we're restoring health together. Step by step, together. Because care is better together. O'Connor, together in health. At O'Connor Hospital, we're shortening your wait time. Because in an emergency, every minute counts. This is our commitment to you. O'Connor Hospital, together in health.
And welcome back to the Talk of the Town. Michael Jacobi with you, with our good friend Roger Maltbie from NBC Sports. You played, what, 75 to I want to say 89? Or
No,
something?
75 through 95, 21
95.
years. Yeah.
So and that was when you weren't winning the 12 tournaments.
Well, I think that number's a little inflated.
No, your net worth isn't $22 million?
No. It's not even close. Now, I was looking at the final standings from the Masters last week. And if you tied for 5th place, you made more money than I made in any year of my career.
Really?
For a 5th place finish, 1 week. So that tells you how it's changed, which is great. I'm happy for him.
Speaking of paydays, I'd be remiss not to ask, is it an apocryphal story that the first tournament that you left the check on the bar? True story.
Yeah. A day which will live in infamy. Yeah, you've seen.
Well, I've been there.
You've seen guys win a tournament and they have the big cardboard dummy check on the 18th green they take pictures with. The guy that owned the golf course came out and sponsored the tournament, gave me the real check, which they always mailed your checks home. You didn't get your checks handed to you. At any rate, you put it in your pocket. Well, I had won 2 tournaments in a row. I'd won the previous week in the Quad Cities in Illinois. And so now I'm 24 just, and I think I got more money than there is in the whole world. I've lived every dream I ever had in the last 2 weeks, and a party broke out, and that was just fine.
And a $40,000 tip to the bartender seemed to make sense at the time.
You know, and when I came to next morning, there's a big difference between falling asleep and waking up and passing out and coming to. And when I came to the next morning, I discovered that I had no cash, no check. So now I'm sitting there trying to figure out, where was I last night? I can't even answer that one too good. And that took a while, and I figured it out. Anyway, through a series of phone calls, they hadn't found it, and I called out to the course and talked to the guy that had given me the $40,000 check the day before, and I said, his name was Cuz Mangola. I said, Cuz, I got a problem. He says, what kind of problem could you possibly have? I said, well, I lost a check last night in a bar, so I got a new one. It worked out. And I finally got the check back.
I was going to say, but you did leave it on the bar?
Oh, it was under a table somewhere. They found it when they were cleaning up, and they kept it. The owner of the bar called me and said, do you mind if we frame it and have it for bar lore? I said, fine. It doesn't mean anything to me now. I got another one, we're fine. And so that place went out of business. True story. And they gave the check back to the club. So this is 2 years ago. We're back in the area doing one of the playoff events, the Deutsche Bank Championship it was. And one of the sports writers drove to play this golf course, Pleasant Valley Country Club in Worcester, Mass. And he's talking to the pro at the desk in the pro shop. And he says, a lot of history here. He says, this is where Maltbie lost his check, right? And the pro says, yeah, I got it in my desk. He says, you're kidding me. He says, no, come on. So he takes him in, he opens his desk, pulls out the check, the original check. And the writer says to me, he says, don't you think he'd like that back? And he says, well, geez, never thought about it. 2 days later, he drove down to where we were broadcasting, TPC of Boston, and gave me the check.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So now I have it.
We are both from a generation, I guess one a little bit past of the old Mickey Mantle story, that if I knew I was going to live this long, I would take better care of myself. And those days, and you were on the tail end of Raymond and those guys, that they did not train.
Well, it depends on your definition of training.
The curls.
Yeah. One's casual, two's three, now you're starting to train.
But that was true of the whole, but not only the culture, but true of broadcasting. I mean, the guys in the old days, some were all, you knew Ken, and
Yeah.
even on the air.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's not,
a great story.
that's frowned on now. We don't do that. We don't do that.
Let's talk about, I love your work, and I know you are, but you should, and well, you should be proud of what you did as a player, but how you've taken it to kind of the next, but also a different level in terms of being able to analyze the sport, but to make it comfortable to the listener, to the viewer. And that's a big deal, because I think in many cases, and I'm speaking for myself now, I think the tail has started wagging the dog in some of these, where you got to have, all of a sudden you need one guy who's the buffoon, one guy who's this, one guy. I mean, does that strike you as odd about the way it's approached by some networks? We're not mentioning anybody.
Well, I don't know if it's so much the approach by some networks, but there is a certain skill into assembling a team.
Right.
In finding guys that work together well, and one can bring a little levity, maybe one can bring great analytical skills, one, is great at the machinations of television, whatever. And I think NBC's done a nice job. But the one thing I tell people is the only reason anybody played golf a second time is because it was fun the first time. It's not rocket science. Yeah. I mean, it's a sport. Now, there are periods, and you need to respect that, when there's a lot of money on the line, you're coming down to the end of a tournament, there's a life-changing consequences to what happens, and it's time to be serious.
And, right. There's not always a punchline.
Right, exactly.
Although there are people that there is, which is a lack of respect.
Which bothers me as a viewer, when I view.
That's the point. Barney Adams is a friend of mine. I've known him for years, from Adams Golf. Right. And he wrote a book called The Wow Factor. And the wow factor is ostensibly talking about Adams clubs, but it's like what you said. He wanted, when you swing a club, he wanted you to go wow. And it's the same kind of deal. The first time you play golf, it's I love this game.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what brings you back.
Exactly. So let's keep it in that light. And I just, my job as an on-course reporter is to get out of the way. I mean, my little part of the show is to get in, get out, say basically it can go over here, it can't go over there. This is one to attack, this is not one to attack, whatever, and get gone, you know. And the guys in the whole towers and the guys in the 18th tower, Johnny Miller and Dan Hicks in our case, it's their job to tell the stories and the whatnot. My job is just to be a reporter, and that's it.
We talked about the coverage of the Open, which is at Carnoustie this year, which of course is infamous for Vandervelde.
Right.
Did you ever see the commercial where he hit the putter?
No.
It was only shown once. You know, the story is, for the folks who don't remember, Vandervelde was leading by a couple of strokes, ended up, I guess he was 3 up, ended up hitting drive or triple bogeyed the hole, lost the playoff, and everybody thought he was crazy.
Quadruple bogeyed the hole.
Yeah,
Made
but
8.
he still made the playoff.
Yes.
But he went back and played the hole with a putter and double bogeyed it. That would have won.
Yeah.
It's the only time it was only shown once. But is it a bit challenging in terms of, I know you share the feed with the BBC, right? On some of the stuff. So are you looking at?
Boy, you're starting to get out of my league there. You know, there's a world feed.
Yeah, okay.
There is, I don't think we share it with BBC.
You basically still walking the course? I mean, is there anything
Oh, yes.
different? So
No difference, you know.
you have new knees?
No, I need one over here probably down the road, but yeah, they're not good.
Yeah.
They're not good. They're kind of worn out.
But there again, we talk about the fun aspect. It's being out in those crowds too. I mean, it's
Yes, because
I mean,
they truly
best crowds in the
appreciate
world.
golf.
Yeah.
They know. I mean, they'll say rubbish, you know, for a bad one.
Fool,
And
yeah.
when they see a good one, they're more than appreciative, and that's what you want. You know, they're not over there screaming mashed potatoes and you know, be the ball and all the stupid things that can be said in this country when they're watching a golf event.
So, how long do you go before? And the Open is in July.
Yes, in July.
And how long early do you get there?
Oh, I'll get there. I'll leave probably on the Sunday, get there Monday morning, and have Tuesday, Wednesday for looking around the golf course and
You still play much
whatnot.
yourself?
I didn't for years. Then I started to try last year, and left knee kind of went bad. Doctor said, well, it's the golf that's doing it. And so I quit for a while. Then I got better, and I started playing again in the fall. And now I'm on kind of a regimen that maintains it right now. So I want to get back to playing golf. Who knows why? I mean, it took a long time for me not to have standards. Yeah. You know, well, how I did play, and you know, I'm old, I'm fat, drink a little too much. You know, I mean, I do a lot of things. I'm not supposed to play great anymore. And it took a long time for me to be able to go out and play golf. And it doesn't matter what I shoot. It really doesn't matter. I just enjoy the game and the challenge of the game. And now I can do it without any of those problems.
You know, Roger, and we've got to wrap it up. I have always, this is my 48th year in radio, that I've always proud of myself that I feel that I'm a friend of whoever's listening, and you've maintained that, and across the board for the people I'm having to do. I interviewed Roger last year, and he's coming back this year. Oh, that's great! He's the best. And I thank you for that.
Yeah.
And thank you for being part of Los Gatos.
Absolutely.
I'm going to see you out at Jazz this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Jazz in the Palace, great time.
You can Uber down.
Correct.
And by the way, if I leave a check for you, I'll have the bartender pick it up. No problem. Roger Maltbie. That's Talking the Town, hosted by the good folks at O'Connor Hospital, a part of Verity Health. I'm Mike Jacobi. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I'm Jacobi. I'll see you soon.